Hey everybody, this is Dayanor Kamatazi, and I am on my assassin, and today we are going to be going over the Darkness spec. I will note right now that this is not a spec I normally go into, so this is extremely basic, and would love to get some tips from those who are more advanced who have seen this video. I will be going over a couple things to note in discipline path here. Please read over and read carefully. These are going to likely help you find your own playstyle and rotation. Under utility points will be another thing we'll be going over. Again, read the different utility points that you can spec into, as it will help you find what matches your playstyle far more. I will be going over a very basic, extremely basic rotation later on in the video, and I will also be going over some player tips. So to get started, we'll be going over the utility points. Under Skillful, I have Formless Phantom, which has changed since I last looked at it, which in Darkness spec reduces all damage taken while stunned by 30%. That used to be straight up what Formless Phantom was for all specs. I also have Lambast, which increases the damage dealt by your last raid by 25%. For those who like to have your targets be slowed, Snaring Slashes is a good substitute, which Thrash, Voltaic Slash, and Lacerate reduce the movement speed of the targets they damage by 30% for 6 seconds. Under Masterful, I have Nerve Wracking, which targets controlled by your Spike or Electrocute take 5% more damage from all sources. I also have Assassin's Shelter, which Mass Mind Control provides Assassin's Shelter to all allies within range, excluding yourself, so you are not involved with the Assassin's Shelter, which reduces the damage that your allies take by 5% for the next 6 seconds, and heals them for 27-26 health over the duration. Speed Surge is going to be a good substitute for that if you like to move quicker. Activating Shock, Ball Lightning, or Eradicate increases your movement speed by 50% for 9 seconds, and the effect cannot occur more than once every 18 seconds. Under Heroic, I have Dark Stability, which activating Deflection grants 6 seconds of immunity to stun, sleep, lift, and incapacitating effects. I also have Insulation, which when damage breaks from your mind trap prematurely, the target will suffer from sapped mind, reducing the damage they deal by 25% for 10 seconds, and in addition, while in Darkness spec, Depredating Folds increases movement speed by 35% for 6 seconds. I have that more for the targets dealing 25% less damage for 10 seconds, more than speed, but for those who have to have that need for speed, that helps them out as well. Under Legend, real quick before I move on here, Magnetism, when it is a good substitution, when the target recovers from being stunned by your Spike or Electrocute, its move speed is over 90% for the following 3 seconds, and in addition, Force Cloak increases your movement speed by 50% while it is active, and Force Slow reduces the movement speed of its target by an additional 20%. And then Immersion is another good one. For Force Speed, grants Immersion, removing all movement pairing effects and granting immunity to them for the duration. Now, under Legendary, I have it set up where Reaper's Rush, where Phantom Strike grants Reaper's Rush, allowing your next Assassinate ability to be used on any target, regardless of remaining health. And Reaper's Rush will last for 10 seconds, as well. In addition to that, if the target of your Phantom Stride is killed within 10 seconds of using Phantom Stride, the Phantom Stride's cooldown is automatically reset. I also have Retaliatory Grip, which deflection grants Retaliatory Grip, reflecting 50% or in this case 100% while in darkness spec of all direct damage for a single target will be reflected back to the attacker. Retaliatory Grip lasts for 12 seconds and does not absorb incoming damage. In substitution, you could also use Disjunction, which increases the duration of Force Shot by 2 seconds and Force Speed by 0.5 seconds. In addition, Force Speed slows all enemies within 5 meters by 75% for 2.5 seconds when activated. You could also use Phasing Phantasm, which Phantom Stride can be used while immobilized and purges movement impairing effects when used. Additionally, Force Speed grants Phasing Phantasm, causing you to absorb 60% of all incoming damage for the duration of Force Speed. So that's another good one. If you really want to, you can use Hand of Darkness as well, which Force Pull immobilizes its target for 3 seconds. Leeching Strike if you're in Low Slash if you are in any other discipline. Leeching Strike immobilizes target for 2 seconds, in Low Slash for 1. After the incapacitating effect wears off. In addition, successful use of Mind Trap grants Hand of Darkness, increasing the crit chance of your next direct attack by 100%. And the effect lasts for 20 seconds. For things to note, Discharge will cause your target to be unsteady for 45 seconds, which decreases their melee and range accuracy by 5%. Lacerate will have an increased damage by 15% to unsteady targets. When you exit stealth, you'll have a 4 stack for Dark Protection, which Dark Protection will provide you with 1% of damage reduction boost per stack. Total of 4 stack, so 4%. Thrash, Lacerate, Assassinate, and Phantom Stride all will provide your next Maul to be half the cost and act as if it was used from behind, with a 10-second cooldown. 10-second cooldown to that proc. So, as I mentioned, this is a very basic rotation with high regards to those who have a steady rotation. Please provide that in the comments below. So for a single target, we have Thrash, Maul, Shock, and Depredating Folds, as well as Assassinate when that's available. For your AoEs, we have Lacerate, Wither, and Discharge. And on the right here, I have Force Pull, Spike, and Electrocute as well. In case you want to pull your target, or need to, in some cases. Or if you need to stun, those two are both available to you. For your high threat, I actually happen to have them on me. High threat abilities are in fact Wither, Discharge, and Force Pull. Those will all provide high amount of threat. And your taunts are going to be Mind Control for single target, as well as Mass Mind Control for an AoE taunt. Recklessness is going to be going hand in hand with some abilities, especially with Shock. As you, for those who actually who will read the Discipline Path, you will read why. That has something to do with credit damage bonus while it's procced. Number one thing that I do know for a fact with this spec: keep Dark Ward up. That is very critical for this spec. However, I will not be using it in this video because I actually am not in a dangerous zone. But when you are out and you are tanking or even questing in some areas with large amount of ads, Dark Ward, Dark Ward, Dark Ward must be up. What Dark Ward does is it surrounds you with Dark Wards with 15 charges that increases your shield chance by 15% for 20 seconds. And each time you successfully shield, one charge will be taken away. Beautiful thing, it does not break stealth. So to start, I will use Phantom Stride here. So you notice there's two procs off the bat, so Assassinate and Maul, and with Shock, just drag a bit. Shock is procs, so I use Recklessness. Thresh, Maul again. Often enough, Shock and Maul will both be procced. So those are going to be critical for single target. Depredating Bolts does have a chance to proc as well. That's always nice. For AoEs, we'll use Lacerate, Wither, and Discharge. Which, of course, as the mentioned earlier, Lacerate does deal 15% more damage to those with Unsteady on them. Because it's a training dummy, Force Pull will not do anything, as you saw. So I'd have to use Phantom Stride to go to my target. And again, once again, procs some abilities. So, in a sense, what I have as a rotation so far is indeed Phantom Stride to get up to my target. Using Assassinate and Maul since they are procs. I would use Thrash to allow my Shock ability to proc and potentially my Depredating Bolts. And then using my other abilities such as Discharge to bring in Unsteady, Lacerate to deal more damage, and then I would be using Wither after a short time to keep the threat on the target so they're targeting me. Same thing with Force Pull if they were ranged, so that way the ads would be coming back onto me if they happen to be going towards, let's say, a healer. And then we go back to going to single target as long as I don't have a large amount of group. Because then I would be using Discharge and Wither constantly, as long with Lacerate. Some player tips for everybody will be under Legacy. So under character perks, as you've noticed, I have almost everything unlocked. I once upon a time did. They just end up adding more stuff since I was last subbed, which would be the Speeder piloting has been two of them have been added. Under advancement, I do recommend getting what you're focusing on, such as war zones, flashpoints, as well as your class missions. Exploration goes hand in hand with class missions very beautifully. Under travel, I do recommend getting the Priority Transport Personal Starship for 50,000 credits. That works perfectly when you're working through your class storyline. As, let's say you happen to be in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by ads, and you just finished a heroic mission, and your storyline mentions that you need to go to your starship to progress in the storyline. Personal Starship comes beautifully, so that way you're not having to go to the nearest speeder or flight path and having to go to take that to the spaceport. You could just be in that middle of nowhere and you click on their Personal Starship Transport and go straight to your starship. Side planets such as the Black Hole or CZ-198 are also recommended if you're not sure where the heck they are on the galactic map and you keep forgetting where they are. You can just purchase those and use them to go straight to those side planets for those heroic motions or that flashpoint you personally want to go to. Under convenience, I do recommend that you start off with getting your field repair droid, so that way you can repair, of course, as well as sell to clear off space from your inventory. I also recommend for 200,000 credits to get your field respec. That way you do not have to go to the fleet and find the respec specialist and do what you need to do. Instead, with the field respec, you can be just about anywhere and be able to respec in case you need to go from DPS to tank, and like the flashpoint, or even in your ops, and your tank decides a tank or your personal tank or your tank for the group decides to drop, you can, if you happen to have the armor for it and field respec, you can actually respec and progress with your group. It's actually fantastic. The other three, so your field repair or your field mail and field personal cargo and legacy cargo, those actually do come in handy from time to time, so it is actually worth getting them. Even if you don't use them often, they're still nice to have. Under companion, as useful as most of these are, the two I recommend the highest would be the Legacy of Altruism to max that out, so that way when you give gifts to your companions, the companion influence gained from those gifts will be increased by a total of 30%. And I also recommend getting Legacy of Promptness to max out. So that way, when you're giving gifts to your companions, the time it takes to give each gift will be reduced by a total of 60%. Going from 30%, or not 30, from 3 seconds down to about 1.6 seconds per gift. So let's say you happen to have a stack of 900 gifts, that 1.5 to 1.6 seconds per gift will actually come in handy instead of having to take 3 seconds per gift times 900. That takes a while. Under Global Unlock and Other, starting off with alignment, I do recommend one character to at least be capping out with the light attunement, so you have the Unity ability, which with the Unity ability, your companion must be out with you, but when you click to use it, it reduces the damage you both take so both you and your companion. It reduces the damage you both take by 50% for 15 seconds. So actually nice when you get into a tight spot. As you notice, I am on my personal starship doing this video. So if you're like me and you like to be in your own personal area to do your training, doing training dummies, instead of being on the fleet, I do recommend that you do ship unlock for Operation Training Dummy as well as Warzone Training Dummies. I could be wrong on this, but I do believe that with the repair droid, that you are able to grab something to change the training dummy to where you could use change from DPS testing to a healing testing or even tank testing. I could be wrong on that, and it's just a health adjustment straight up. But the repair droid does provide those. But at least the Operation Training Dummy and Warzone Training Dummies are the two main focus that I do personally recommend if you want to use them. Under convenience, I do recommend getting the Legacy Fleet Pass maxed out because that causes your Fleet Pass to have 0 cooldown. I also recommend getting the Legacy Travel maxed out because that causes your Quick Travel to have 0 cooldown. And then if you do decide to get the Improved Priority Transport, I do recommend getting the Personal Starship maxed out because that will cause your Starship transport to have no cooldown as well. And with all 3 of them maxed out, that allows you to port around all day, and any group members or even guild members trying to keep up with you could potentially get upset with you because you're porting around and they cannot keep up. I do recommend getting the tactical markers because let's say you are in charge of the ops group or even in a hard mode flashpoint. Tactical markers allows you to mark out where you want each role and potentially cause that boss fight to be going through a lot more smoothly instead of rather chaotic, because we all know that one person who does not listen very well because they're more visual. I do also recommend getting improved mounting, which allows you to mount while moving. And I find this rather addicting because I did not like going from this account to a secondary account when after I got the improved mounting, I found out that I personally loved it. I enjoy having those 2 seconds of being able to taking off from stopping and mounting and continuing. I personally like being able to move and mount at the same time. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. I apologize for this one video for not being too terribly helpful, but at least it provides you with something, I believe. So the more advanced Darkness Bag assassins who happen to view this video, please provide your expertise. Even I will learn from this. So I wish everybody the best of luck, and welcome to Playing the Assassin.